Y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got an interesting story that I want to share with you from Scripps News, and it is tied into the Beast infrastructure system that I have been telling you about all year. We've been trying to use data points to put this thing together. And this particular story, it ties into the call for the end of fossil fuels, um, the the ending of your movements wanted to charge you. You remember I was telling y'all about how they were going to charge you if you used your fossil fuel car to go into certain cities daily, and so they will make it almost undesirable for you to move on your own. You will have to rely on public transportation, and that is the goal. So this particular story ties into what I've been talking about. And as you can see, they're going to dress this stuff up all kinds of ways to make you think you helping to save something. Try to use keywords because these videos have really been getting censored, but I just want to share with you how this is tied to the mark. If you don't do what the beast infrastructure says, you will not be able to buy, sell, you ain't going to be able to work, you won't be able to shop, you won't be able to do nothing because you're not going to be able to afford it. And that mark is going to be tied to money. It's going to be tied to movement and freedom and worship. Because when you comply with what the beast infrastructure wants you to comply with, you are essentially worshiping the system, or you're worshiping, I hate to say it, money or currency, money, um, because you're depending and trusting on the system and not trusting on the Most High. And so that is why we must really, really, really be working in 2024 to come out of her, get out of these cities, um, do the best you can to become as self-sufficient as possible. I realize, our people are some of the poorest people in this country, but, we're going to have to swallow some pride. We're going to have to do some things we didn't want to do. We're going to have to live some ways that are not popular amongst people because we live in a greedy, capitalistic, overindulging society that always wants us to consume, consume, consume. We got to have the biggest car. We got to have the most expensive. We got to have the nicest. Got to live in the nicest neighborhood. And if you don't do those things, you are chastised. You got to have the best job. You got to get the biggest college degree. You got to have the most debt. You need to have good credit. You need to do all these things so that you can participate in this nightmare that they have told you was a dream. So you're getting ready to see again how these folks twist stuff around in order to get their agendas pushed. And they do it in a very slick way. They always start out where the most people are, and people are just kind of oblivious to it. But I'm going to say it again. I've been saying it for the last couple of years. Black people living in major cities are in danger. Y'all need to come down south, get out of these cities, uh, come to these rural communities because you are going to experience this transition into this beast system a lot less. And there are some major cities in the South as well that are going to go through the same thing. But a couple of these cities are model cities. And New York has been doing this darndest to be flooded with immigrants, destabilized, um, plant seeds of distrust with the leadership. They have been collapsed in New York for quite some time. And so now you're having these different immigrant groups come and fight with, in particular, Black people, because of course they always put everybody in our communities. And so we got all these different things going on, and you need to be aware of what's coming because that's the chaos that brings you to this type of order. So let's get into this story. New York City officials to charge drivers to decrease congestion. New York City officials say the so-called congestion pricing will reduce the number of vehicles entering Manhattan by 17% a day. And this is all to decrease allegedly the global warming, or to decrease that, to ensure they don't, or we don't increase the Earth's temperature by 1.5 degrees Celsius per year, whatever it is, whatever they're saying, whatever. But anyway, let's continue. Children of the Corn always have tricks, but we own them like the police around here. Driving through Manhattan could soon become expensive for drivers in New York City, as transportation authorities there have approved a congestion pricing plan. So this has already been approved. It is going to happen. Some critics have criticized the move because it does not exempt taxis and Ubers, passing the cost along to those who don't drive. So if you come into the city, you're going to have to pay extra money. So if you don't take the train, and say you choose to Uber into the city, your Uber driver is going to have to pay that $17 per day. They're going to pass that along to the customers. If you drive your own car, they're going to charge you. Now, how are they going to know who's driving in and out of the city every day? How will they know? How will they know? Y'all seen that commercial? How will they know? Okay. So that was the most interesting part to me. Like, how would they know if you came into the city in a car? It means they would have to have some type of surveillance, and they would charge you. So it says, under the plan, drivers could pay up to $15 to enter the Central Business District in Manhattan, but New York City officials say the plan will reduce congestion and pollution while generating funding for crucial capital projects like the extension of the subway line. So you're going to pay for your imprisonment because they want you to pay because they don't have no money. So they want you to go to work, slave, and pay extra money to go to your job and be a slave and make little money so that you can pay for your own imprisonment in the beast infrastructure when they institute the you know what. So it's crazy. Basically, these people will be paying for their own 15-minute cities. I think it's like very over the top. I don't understand what it means. It doesn't make sense, said Michael Tellis, a New York resident. I know it doesn't make sense because y'all ain't following me. I'm trying to tell y'all what's happening, but you don't listen. Bless. With a 9-1 vote, only one person voted against this crap. Congestion pricing took a major turn in New York City as the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, or MTA, approved a congestion pricing plan. While it will require most drivers to pay a $15 base fare for entering the Central Business District of 60th Street in Manhattan, district south of 60th Street in Manhattan, there will be discounts available for low-income drivers. So if you poor, you still ain't getting off. You can't be poor. They don't care if you're poor. You're still going to pay and then go do your indentured servitude job, making wages that are way below the cost of living. And so you just gonna be walking away with less money everywhere you go. They're gonna rob you at the grocery store. They're gonna rob you going to work. They're just gonna rob you. We're gonna be consistently robbed. That's capitalism for you. That's what it is. It's a Ponzi scheme. Take from the bottom to give to the top. I'm concerned, though, that that's going to cause public transit to become overcrowded with all the people who are currently driving, wanting to avoid paying such a big toll. $15 is a lot of money, so I'm not a big fan of it, said New York City driver Andrew Brooks. I guess it will reduce supposedly cars, quote, this is what this person said. Quote, I guess it will reduce supposedly cars, but I think still people need to drive. So I think it's just going to be more expensive for everybody, said New York City driver Anton Domsky. So just think now, just because you're not driving your car, now you got to pay to drive the expense a ride on an expensive public transportation. You got to add time to your day to get to the public transportation. Now you got to walk to your job. You got to deal with the funky subways, because I have been on the trains in New York and they are disgusting. I don't want to ever have to ride on those things. Like, I know it's cool, and people in the city are used to it, but when you live in the South and you don't have to do that, I just don't understand how city people live like that. It's just disgusting. And then the big old rats, and what if you got to leave early in the morning? Like, what about the kids who got to drive on a school bus, or need transportation to and from school? Parent, they're in extracurricular activities. There are so many implications for this type of thing. And what if you need to do business? I just, it is just absurd. So I said, this says trucks and buses will be charged between $24 and $36 depending on their size. There will also be a $1.25 surcharge on taxis, a cost expected to be passed on to passengers. So if you take a taxi, you got to pay more money now. Uber and Lyft riders could also be affected, as an additional $2.50 per trip will be applied to those apps. I think it's just another tax on people in the city. It's like, how much more can we withstand, said Mimi, a New Yorker. So that's exactly what it is. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you're helping to develop their infrastructure that they ultimately want to um, build. So it says New York City officials say the so-called congestion pricing would reduce the number of vehicles entering Manhattan by 17% a day. That would mean 150,000 fewer cabs, Ubers, and civilian vehicles would be operating within a large portion of Manhattan. I don't like it, only because as a driver, it's nice to have the ability to go downtown. Sometimes I have meetings down there and not worry about paying a toll. I think with a toll, it would de-incentivize me from wanting to drive in, said Brooks. I hope they will use that money wisely to do something good for the city, said Domsky. No, they're going to use it to build y'all prison. Officials say the plan will provide funds to make the subway system more accessible for the disabled by building more elevators. This move will initiate a 60-day public commentary period before public hearings begin in February. The MTA will have to finalize a toll schedule and the proposed rates. So it says changes can still be made before congestion prices go into effect in the spring. So this is always springtime. This is going to start. If transportation officials approve it early next year, the plan will be the first of its kind in the country. So I just wanted to share that with you. They are implementing this congestion pricing. Now, the one thing that they didn't talk about in this article is how they will know what cars are coming to the system. And so that's kind of what I was looking for more information. How do you know? So it has to be, they're going to have some, like I said, a toll, or toll cameras, where when you come to the city, like they do in Florida and a lot of places, they don't have toll roads anymore. They have these little things across the highway where they just take a picture of your tag and then they bill you. But while that is in place, they are going to also, it means you'll have to provide more information. So if you're an Uber driver and you're driving into the city, you will have to tell your Uber driver. So, there's a line that is going to be crossed because they're going to get into your personal business. You look, it is getting ready to get bad, y'all. If you live in the city, you better be fleeing like you on fire. It is not going to get any better. It is only going to get worse. Living in the city, especially if you're poor, living in the city, I mean, it doesn't matter even if you work. You see, they're going to charge you if you're low income too. So if you have to work and you're low income, say if you're a janitor or a housekeeper, or you work in some of these business districts and you cater to the rich and you only make a little bit of money, you're not going to be able to afford that every day. I mean, it's just taking money out of your household. That's another expense. So that means you got to get another job just to pay to go to your job. Man, come on. I'm gonna need y'all to use y'all good common sense. Think this thing out. You need to go to those meetings. Y'all need to raise hell. You need to oppose everything that they push, because this means more surveillance. It means more taxing. It is a tax on the poor and working folks, because the rich people not going to care if they have to pay this. They rich. They skim off of us from at the bottom so they can get rich. So I wanted to share this with you, and there is a link about this recommendation here. So I'm going to include it. Well, I can't include this. I might be able to include it. Yeah, it does have a link, so I can include it. I have not had a chance to read this, but I wanted to see how they will implement this. It's just very interesting. So it says tolls should be charged to the vehicles only as they enter the business district, not if they remain in or leave the zone. So you're going to be charged one time every time you come into it. Oh, there it is. Passenger vehicles and passenger type vehicles with commercial license plates should be charged a $15 toll for entering the CBD no more than once per day. So every day you enter, you're going to be charged $15. So what if you got to go 7 days a week? And while it's only one time, like that's a significant amount of money per week that you'd have to add to your check. So I don't know. I'm going to read this because I want to share with you how they're going to implement it, implement this. And, my concern is about the surveillance, the Wi-Fi connectivity, because again, this ties into their need to have Wi-Fi in space, Starlink, so they can connect to the cars, because eventually they won't need tags or tag readers or tolls, because they're going to be surveilling you from space and other places. So this is getting ready to be wild. These people are insane. Insane. It is insane. But anyway, New York, y'all get ready. Y'all about to become the first 15-minute city announced in the country. And it's looking like it's coming faster than we could have ever imagined. So I wanted to share this with everybody so that you can see that these folks ain't playing no games with us. You're going to do it. You're going to be marked or you're going to be sealed. You're going to trust in the Most High. You're going to believe in the beast's system, their infrastructure. You're going to do what they say do, and you're not going to have a choice. You're going to buy and sell and be marked, or you're going to come out of this system, believe in the creator, and go without. I've been talking about primitive living and, season of going without. That time is coming. Everybody's going to have to make a choice. I realize, people have to do what they have to do to survive. But every step that you take to go into this system is the closer you get into where they want you to be. And so at some point, you have to push back. At some point, you have to say no. At some point, you have to go to these meetings. Like now, you should be setting your calendar every month to go to every meeting that your city is having if you live in a major city, because they are instituting these things and they're passing with like no pushback. There's no conversation. People just don't go to the meetings. They don't think it's important. Now is the time for you to go to everything. At least if they pass it, have your comment on record, your opposition, because it is going to impact you. And if they do this in one city, guess what? And it's successful, they're going to do it in other cities. And it's not right. It's not the way that the creator designed for us to just work. We are perpetual slaves in America. And now it doesn't even matter what class you're in, because every class, unless you are uber rich, is going to be a pauper. So it is not about race anymore, although it is always about race in this country. Everybody's going to be a slave. So if you sitting around here thinking because you're a different color, you're not going to be treated like black people and poor, and honey, you are on your way to the ghetto so fast you don't even realize it. So prepare your minds, people. Get your pocketbooks together. Find that other job, because if you live in the city, you're going to need you 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs just to survive. It is not even worth it, let me tell you. It's just not worth it. Come out of her, my people. Come out of her. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification and hit all so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Also, make sure you are still subscribed to the channel, because YouTube been doing something to everybody. All of us truth tellers been catching it. If you oppose the propaganda, you're targeted. So my channel, of course, is targeted. I've been targeted for some time, and I know this. So if you share this on platforms that you use, especially on ones that believe in free speech, you help the algorithms carry the message further. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, and Odyssey, as these channels will be used to communicate with you in the event that I am booted from YouTube. Right now, this is my primary platform. I do not write anymore because everything I write, it gets censored. Even these videos are getting censored, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna say at my wit's end. I'm just not spending as much time placing content in different areas. Although I probably should, I just don't, because to me it's a hassle. And to not have it get out after putting so much thought and hard work into it is really challenging, especially when so much nonsense can be shared and get millions of views in a very short period of time. Lastly, if you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description. Your donations are greatly appreciated. If you've already donated, I thank you so very much. And if you like this type of content, we would appreciate, me and other content creators, we appreciate your contributions, because we all take hits. We're all persecuted. We go through things that y'all don't even have a clue about and we can't talk about. So with that said, if you find it in your hearts to share with content creators who are truth tellers, they really would appreciate it, because it is very challenging right now for all of us. We all are sacrificing, and so in order for you to know, somebody else got to be bold enough to share the information. And so it's us, and we're doing it. So we're not asking, we don't have any, a lot of us don't have sponsors. A lot of us can't even get our channel content up to be monetized. So any donations that you give to content creators, especially those who are not monetized, they greatly appreciate it. Lastly, keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Most High. Come out of her, my people, because they are trying to enslave us again. We are in Egypt, Babylon, Mystery Babylon. Everything just, we're in captivity, just perpetual captivity. We gotta rely on the Most High, or the Creator. Trying to get away from saying the Most High. It's getting ready to be challenging, y'all. And I told y'all after COP28, I don't think it's over with yet, but there are so many things that are going on we can't even fathom. So the stories that I'm gonna be putting out are gonna be it's just a lot. A lot of stuff has happened over the weekend, and I had a lot of stories that I need to share. So this week I'm gonna put out a lot of content, and I hope you watch it all, because all of it is very important. Different areas, different data points, but all leading to the same end. And we need to understand what's happening before the hour comes where there is no light, there is no moon, there is no communications, there's nothing. and you will at least know what's happening and what is coming. You don't want to be those people who faint or perish because they don't know what's coming on the earth. At least you will know and be able to prepare. All right, y'all, this is Marty K. Love y'all, and I'm out.